Namaste, my dear friends. Today, I want to speak from the heart to those of you who are still working even after 60. Many of you may have heard questions like, why are you still working? Or isn't it time to slow down now? And somewhere, quietly, you may have asked yourself the same thing. But let me share something with you, not from books, not from theories, but from real lives, real stories, and reflections I have gathered along the way. Life after 60 is a very interesting stage. It is almost like a beautiful paradox. On one side, you carry decades of wisdom, experience, and understanding, things that no classroom can ever teach. And on the other side, the world keeps whispering, step back, take it easy, retire. But my dear friends, the real question is not when to retire. The real question is how to live meaningfully after 60. Please listen to this very carefully. After a certain age, work can not only be about earning money. Yes, money has its place. It gives comfort and security. But if money becomes the only reason you wake up every day, something inside you slowly starts feeling empty. I remember meeting a gentleman, let's call him Mr. Verma. He was around 65, still working tirelessly, highly respected in his field, financially very stable. From the outside, everything looked perfect. From the outside, everything looked perfect. But when I gently asked him, are you truly happy doing what you do? He paused. There was silence. Gad, there was silence. And then he said, I've been doing this for 40 years. I don't know anything else. That moment stayed with me because many people don't realize when routine turns into a cage. You keep going, not because it fulfills you, but because it's familiar. And slowly, you stop asking yourself the most important question: does this still bring me joy? At this stage of life, work should evolve. It should not just be about targets, deadlines, or habits built over decades. Deadlines or habits built over decades. It should energize you, inspire you, and give you a sense of meaning. Ask yourself honestly, when you go to bed at night, do you feel peaceful? Do you feel satisfied with how you spent your day? Or does something feel incomplete? I have seen many beautiful transformations. A teacher, after retirement, begins guiding students online, not for money, but for impact. An engineer starts working on small community projects, solving real life problems. A corporate professional turns a simple hobby into something that brings joy to others. Do you see what's happening here? Work is no longer just work, it becomes purpose. And purpose, my friends, is what keeps us alive, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. The most meaningful work at this age may not always come with a paycheck. Sometimes it comes with gratitude, with smiles, with the quiet satisfaction that you made a difference in someone's life. So if you are working after 60, pause for a moment and reflect. Ask yourself, is this nourishing my soul, or am I just continuing out of habit? Because at this stage of life, your time is extremely precious. It should not be spent only filling your bank account while leaving your heart empty. Let your work become something more. Let it be your expression, not your pressure. Let it be your contribution, not your compulsion. Let it be your joy, not just your responsibility. Because true success after 60 is not about how much you earn, it is about how deeply you live. That, my dear friends, is the first secret to truly thriving after 60. Now, let us gently move to the second, and perhaps the most heartfelt part of life: relationships. You see, relationships are very much like a garden. If you water them with time, nurture them with care, and give them the warmth of your presence, they bloom beautifully. But if you become too busy, too occupied with work and responsibilities, slowly that garden begins to dry. I remember meeting a gentleman, around 70 years old. In his professional life, he was extraordinary, respected, intelligent, highly accomplished. People admired him. But when I sat with him, I sensed a quiet loneliness. His children were busy in their own worlds, his spouse felt emotionally distant, and he had no close friends to truly talk to. And that made me reflect deeply. After spending decades building careers, we often assume relationships will take care of themselves. We postpone connection, thinking, I'll make time later. But my friends, after 60, later becomes a very uncertain promise. This is the phase when relationships matter more than ever. The warmth of family, the laughter shared with friends, the joy of guiding someone younger, these are not small things. These are the true riches of life. No amount of money, no success, no recognition can replace the feeling of being loved and connected. Sometimes, even the simplest moments carry the deepest joy. Sitting with your grandchildren, listening to their innocent stories, holding their little hands, these experiences fill your heart in ways no salary ever can. And it's not only about family, friendships, both old and new bring color into our lives. A simple conversation, a shared memory, a cup of tea together, these moments keep the spirit alive. And then there is the beauty of mentoring, guiding someone younger, sharing your life lessons, or simply being there to listen. I once knew an elderly man who started a small weekly discussion circle in his community. People from different age groups would come, young professionals, students, even homemakers, and after every session he would smile and say, Today I feel alive. Why? Because he connected. Because he connected. Because he connected. Because he connected. My dear friends, investing in relationships after 60 is not a luxury, it is a necessity. If your life is filled only with work, it may look successful from the outside, but inside it can feel empty. So learn to balance. Let your work remain meaningful, but let your relationships become sacred. Because in the end, it is not your achievements that people remember the most, it is how you made them feel. The love you share, the bonds you nurture, and the lives you touch, that becomes your true legacy. Now, there is one more truth we must talk about, and that is health. After 60, you begin to understand something very important. Health is not just wealth, it is life itself. I met a woman, 68 years old, still working in a demanding corporate environment. She was dedicated, hardworking, always chasing deadlines. But in that race, she forgot to take care of herself. Meals were skipped, sleep was compromised, and exercise was ignored. One day, her body gave up. She collapsed at work. And the painful part is, it could have been avoided. You see, at this stage of life, our bodies are no longer as forgiving as they once were. They need attention, they need care, and most importantly, they need respect. If we ignore them, they will eventually force us to stop. So, my dear friends, as you continue your journey beyond 60, remember this: success is not just about staying active or productive. It is about living wisely, loving deeply, and taking care of the one body that is carrying you through this beautiful phase of life. Think of your body, my dear friends, as a vehicle that has carried you faithfully through decades of life. Now tell me honestly, would you drive a 60-year-old car without regular servicing? Of course not. You would check the engine, change the oil, take care of every little detail. Then why do we forget to do the same for our own body? At this stage of life, your body needs your attention more than ever. It needs regular checkups, gentle exercise, nourishing food, and most importantly, proper rest. Even something as simple as a 20-minute walk every day can create a remarkable difference. Yoga, stretching, meditation, these are not just modern trends. They are lifelines that keep your body flexible, your mind calm, and your spirit balanced. I have met people who, even after 65, started running marathons, joined dance classes, or began practicing yoga daily. And when I asked them why, they smiled and said, Because now I finally understand, this body is a gift. You see, physical activity is not a punishment, it is a celebration of being alive. When you honor your body, something beautiful happens. Your mind becomes clearer, your energy rises, and everything else in life, your work, your relationships, your experiences becomes more enjoyable. So don't wait for illness to remind you of the importance of health. By then, it often becomes a painful lesson. Work is important, relationships are important. Relationships are important. Relationships are important, but without health, you cannot truly enjoy either of them. Treat your body with kindness, and it will support you gracefully in this next chapter of life. Now, let us talk about something equally beautiful: freedom. After 60, life gives you a rare and precious gift: the freedom to explore, to experiment, and to learn without the fear of judgment. Many people believe that learning is only for the young, but I once met a man, 72 years old, who had never held a camera in his life. One day, he decided to learn digital photography. Within a year, not only had he mastered it, but he was also teaching others and conducting workshops.